Africa, and now right here in the USA. Watch us via Roku on your smart TV. Download the Millennium TV app from the App Store to stream our shows anywhere, anytime. Millennium TV.
Welcome, everyone, to Millennium News 24 Power Talk Show. I'm your host, once again, Eric Stevenson. It's an honor today, always to be in front of you, as always. And I don't put one over another, but it's a great honor today to have a very special guest on our show, for especially those who's listening in the Bronx and throughout New York State and the world. It's a very, very, very great topic and person we have here today. And I'm having this brother on because the demand from the people of the Bronx who say, bring Mr. Santana on the show so we can hear from him. So they got their wish today. We have with us none other than one of the Central Park Five, Raymond Santana, running for the New York City Council. What's the district again?
District 8, brother.
District 8, that covers part of the South Bronx and East Harlem. So welcome to Power Talk.
Thank you, brother. It's a pleasure to be here. And it's a pleasure, to be here and, understand that the Bronx listeners are here. So
Yes,
it's definitely
it's important.
Yeah.
Well, they want you. They
100%.
listen because they want you and they need you.
Yeah.
So for those who may or may not know about the Central Park Five, and the story, it's a story to go long, but Mr. Santana, give me in a nutshell about the history of the Central Park Five.
All right. So
which you are one of. Yes.
Myself and 4 others, on the night of April 19th, we were charged, tried, and ultimately falsely convicted of the rape and attempted murder of the Central Park jogger. In 1989, it was known as the Central Park jogger case. And so myself and the 4 other brothers, I didn't know them at the time. I didn't know who they were. And in our case, there was police tactics that was used against us, as good cop, bad cop. So ultimately, a lot of us, we confessed to something that we didn't do. And so we were charged, we were convicted, and we were sentenced to 5 to 10 years to prison. Corey served, Corey's sentence was 5 to 15 years because he was 16 at the time. And so we all wound up serving from 7 years to Corey served 14 and a half years. And so in 2002, the true perpetrator who actually committed the crime came forward. And when he came forward, he started to tell his story. DNA evidence corroborated his testimony, and then it became known that he was the only person who assaulted the Central Park jogger. And he was also known as the East Side rapist, the East Side slasher. So he had a history of committing rapes in 1989. Wow. And so we became the Central Park Five. We were the 5 most naive, who didn't understand the system, who never dealt with the system. And so, we became the Central Park Five, and then it wasn't through advocacy. We were exonerated in 2002, due to Mateus Reyes coming forward. And so from there, we became advocates, and we started fighting against the criminal justice system, and we started to fight for rights of juveniles. And so, we went on to sponsor several bills. One bill we sponsored was to record the interrogations by the police in its entirety, because we wanted people to see what actually happens when a juvenile goes into those interrogation rooms. Mm-hmm. And then another bill we sponsored was that we asked outside agencies to get involved, because when a juvenile is arrested, he doesn't know his rights, right? We didn't know who Miranda was in 1989, and so, we asked other agencies to come on in and assist with that process for a juvenile. So, we've been advocates, against the criminal justice system for many years. And so, and then, we wound up doing a series with Ava DuVernay, When They See Us, which, now takes our story and it takes it globally. And so now the platform, it starts to widen, because now we see that it isn't just juveniles that we have that we have a problem with in our society. It's our society as a whole. Right. And so now, to be in this space, that's who we are. So we become the Exonerated Five now. A lot of people call us the Exonerated Five, but, either one is fine. Yeah. Uh-oh. We lost. So okay, y'all. So I guess y'all with me.
Oh, here
now.
I go.
Oh, here we go. Look, I was about to take over the show, brother. I got you though. Don't worry about it. I had it. I was about to. We was about to
Okay, there I go. I said, boy, they trying to cut it off already. No, we can't let that happen.
That's how it goes.
But well, that's a great story. It's an unfortunate but great story.
Yeah.
And I know myself and many of us. I remember day one when the incident happened.
Yes.
I remember very well as a resident of the Bronx watching it on TV and front page of the newspapers. And, you know, from the beginning, when I first seen it, my first question was to myself was, is it true? You know, because it's like they just identified someone and said someone did something. But I was like, is it true? Because where's the proof? Because back in those days, so many unfair and injustice cases had occurred and happened through the police, and many was let loose after or acquitted or reversed after the fact.
Yeah.
We had a district attorney in the the Brooklyn, who passed away. I forget his name some years ago. And when he became the district attorney of Brooklyn, he overturned like 17 wrongful conviction cases
Yeah.
that have sentenced people to and it was a bad situation. And these people had you not had a man with such a heart to look at those who they said were guilty to see if they were innocent, this would have never happened. You know, so this is one point that people need to understand, is that it does matter who we have elected in public office,
Yes.
you know, for these situations. Because
Yes.
we have a lot of people elected in public office today and some in the past, um, who have no heart, who
Yeah.
have no compassion, who have no understanding for our community and our people.
Yeah.
You know, when it comes to us, it's a quick ticket to check off and write off as we're wrong.
Yeah.
But the question never comes up, well, is he right? Or are you sure he's wrong? You know, is this they said he did it, he's wrong. Is what exactly happened to the case with the Central Park Five and yourself.
No,
So I'm
100%.
glad it all worked out. The world was watching, the city was, I know I was, and I'm glad it overturned. And I'm glad to see that you have Brother Yusuf Salam, one of the Central Park Five, who's now elected as a New York City council person.
Yeah.
You know, so this is going to make like a worldwide story after you're elected, or
That,
once
and
you're
that,
elected, you know?
and that's the part that we want, right? At the end of the day, we want the spotlight to shine on the district, right? Because that's what it's about. It's
Yes.
about getting progress done. It's about getting things done. Because people are tired. I walk the streets every day. I talk to people, and they want action, right? It's the same story. Everybody gives you all these promises. Hey, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. I'm going to make it happen, right? And for me, it starts with putting a spotlight on it, right?
Yes.
Everybody has to understand that it exists. Like, you know, on 125th Street, you know, the people gave the title to 125th Street in Lexington. They called it Zombieland. I didn't call it that. They did that. And
Yeah.
so when I used the title, I got some backlash from some of the city officials, you know, the current elected officials, because they didn't like the term and they said that it was wrong. And I said, but the problem is that this term has been in existence for over 20 years
Mhm.
in this area. So
Mhm.
the people understand. They see it every day. They walk through it. They live through it. They're tired of it. They're
Yes.
tired. So at the
Yes.
end of the day, it's there. It exists. So when I come in now, and my thing is to put the spotlight on it, to let
Yes.
people know that no, we got to let people see it. That what's being done to Harlem, what's being done to Spanish Harlem, right? That we have all these problems, the mental health, and even in the South Bronx. Because after that, people told me, they said, now go to 138th, go to 139th, go to Third Avenue, right? Go up there now and go see it, because they call it Zombieland also.
Yes.
Right, and then we go up there and we look at it, and it's the truth.
Yes.
It exists, and these are the same people who run these both districts. And so at the end of the day, I don't have the people see it; they know it's there.
I know exactly what you're talking about,
You know
brother.
exactly what I'm talking
And
about. So now,
what troubles me
yeah,
is to what extent are the elected officials doing their job?
And that's the point. So now when I start to raise those questions, right? Because again, we talk about this spotlight that my platform comes with, that now when I put the spotlight on it, people start to move, right? I got videos from people in the community who sent me videos of the conditions on 125th Street, besides what I went out there and recorded on my own. And so when I start to post these things on social media and they start to get a response, now you got 24-hour police surveillance on the corner.
But isn't it funny that they say that they can't do anything about it, but when these big developers want to put up these big developments, they seem to be able to know how to do something about it? Because they say, oh, we have to clear it out now because of new developments coming in. But what about before that?
And that's
Did it matter?
point. That's the point. You can't fool the people when it comes to that. They walk through it every day. People are leaving our communities because they don't want to deal with that public safety issue. It's the truth. It's the truth. We dealing with it. We in this district, the Latino population has dwindled significantly. It was a rich culture that also existed in East Harlem that's gone. Right. And so now, and then you also have Black culture that doesn't really get involved in city council politics. So the vote is kind of silenced. Right. There's a district that has over 185,000 residents and maybe, pulls out in an election of maybe 5,000 to 10,000 votes.
Well, I think you probably going to motivate, or people will be motivated to come out to elect you. For many reasons. For many reasons. And one is because your experience and your background and your walk 100%. And your talk. But your talk is true. That's the thing.
So
and I know it. I know your talk is true. And I know you're committed to do something about these problems. I know you're committed to make a better quality of life for the 8th Councilmatic District. I know people of the South Bronx don't have to worry about who's going to be there for us. I know you're going to be there for them, as well as East Harlem, the Latinos, the African American, you name it, the West Africa, whoever you are. I know you're going to be there for the people of your district. And that's important. And this is why people need to really focus and spread the word and get out. The momentum has to grow now. As time is moving on. This move has to be made concrete. Now, this has to be done.
Can I make a point?
Yes, sir.
This is why it's so important for the people in the community to see what's going on and to understand it. Right? Here I am. I'm Raymond Santana, one of the exonerated 5. I'm running in this race because you have an entity that has been in existence here for over 20 years, right? That has the current conditions of our community the way they are now. So we know what that looks like because we've been living in it for past 20 years. And then I'm fighting against now a super PAC where Wilfredo Lopez is coming in, where he's backed by a super PAC that puts up $1.6 million to fight in a race that only takes about $200,000. Right. And so now they had us in court. I've been battling back and forth. Wilfredo took all the candidates to court, as a tactic that, to use against us. Stalling. Instead of us spending money on the campaign, we're spending money on legal fees. My legal fees, my bill right now is about at least $20,000. Right. And every time that we beat them in court, they go and they appeal. So they appealed about 3 times.
Now you got to counteract again with more legal fees.
There it is. And we beat them about 5 times already. So they just recently, the appellate said, no, that's it. We're done with this. And so it's over. But my thing is, this is why I always ask the people to do the research and see it for themselves. Right?
It's ridiculous. But you know what? Hold that point. We're going to take a quick break and come right back.
Okay.
Yes,
Sounds good.
We got to get into that.
Hello viewers, you are watching Millennium News 24. America and Global Villages Seen America Independence built by immigrants, manufacturers, roads, highways, educations, healthcare, IT, scientists, space business development to all thousands of multimedia and all major social media platforms and news network in America. Millennium News 24, one of truthfully news networks in America and global news organizations. Please watch, follow and subscribe. We are in iOS and Android devices, Roku, Amazon, Apple devices, all smart TV, globally Horizon satellite, social media Millennium News 24, Millennium TV 24. Website www.millenniumnews24.com and www.millenniumtv24.com. Thank you.
Welcome back to Millennium News 24 TV. I'm your host, Eric Stevenson, and we're sitting here with one of the great Central Park Five, Mr. Raymond Santana, a candidate for the New York City Council District 8, which encompasses part of the South Bronx and East Harlem. So welcome back, Mr. Santana.
Thank you, bro.
So I know you was talking about your legal battles. I'll let you continue on.
Oh, appreciate it. And so here it is that we in this legal battle, right? I mean, we're finally out of it. I'm able to get on. The Board of Elections said that I'm on the ballot, and this guy appealed against us twice, just to exhaust our funds. And so for me, when you talk to people, they go, "Well, it's politics," and I go, "No, there's still a right and wrong way to do things, right? There's still some integrity that should be here. The role of a city council is to represent the people, right? And at the end of the day, to have a title of being a politician where somebody looks at you as being a politrix or something that represents falsehood, right? No, those positions are serious because you're a liaison between the people and the systems itself, right? And so at the end of the day, a city councilman has to work within the best interests of the people at all times. There is no letdown. Right. And that's serious. So when I come because I give them information. Right. A person like Wilfredo Lopez shouldn't even be allowed to run in this race when you're doing underhand and sneaky stuff behind the scenes.
Well, you always know special interest comes in, and special interest is not the people. It's
100%.
big business, big development, and so on, as what's usual in politics, right? But they see you as the threat of them not being able to proceed with their mission. So this is the problem. But I think the people are going to see through this and see through whoever it is, Wilfredo, whoever or whatever he is, and who backs him. The people are going to say and reject that.
Yeah.
The people of the South Bronx are fed up and tired of all of this nonsense. They want to know who's going to clean up 3rd Avenue and 149th Street. Who's going to go to 125th and Lexington and clean it up? They want to know who's going to make it safe for them to walk out the subway home first. Before we get to those points and talking about these things. We talk about the basic principles of life first.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. And you have to look at affordability. For me, people, in order to be here, you have to invest, right? And I mean, not business money. I mean, just your time, who you are. You have to invest in the community. So you have to be here long term. We have to figure out strategically ways that we can keep our people in these spaces, right? For long term, right? Because that's how it works out, and then when they become seniors, right? How do we take care of them on the back end? Because our seniors are being priced out and they're being pushed out. And for me, again, it's about principles now, right? It's the same thing I'm talking about with Wilfredo. It's about principles. We got seniors in our communities who have worked their whole lives, invested in the community, have been there through thick and thin. And then now at their later years, they can't afford to stay here.
I'm glad you said that. I'm really happy to hear you say that, especially to have interest of protecting the seniors. Because no one thinks about them. And it's exactly what you're saying is so crucial, because if you force them out, where are you forcing them out to? And it's like the land grab, right? You taking someone's land and home and just put them out. And eminent domain. And it's a force. And so I'm happy to hear you say that about the seniors, and they should know, the seniors should very well know that you're in the corner to protect them, and affordability, affordable housing, to
Have
make
to.
sure that people
It
are
has
not
to
priced out
benefit.
through real estate.
It has to benefit our seniors first, because a lot of them are retired. They paid their time here. My dad has been he worked the same job for over 44 years. He's retired, lives in the community, doesn't want to leave. Should he be priced out? No. That's it. That's the reward. That's how we reward our people for the longevity of wanting to stay and invest in their community.
And
Right?
as you know, in the South Bronx and in Harlem as well, a lot of people in fear and want to do something about the youth and the gang violence.
Yes.
They said nobody could tackle this gang violence, by there's no way of doing anything about it, but get the police and try to get them off the street and arrest as many as possible. They believe that's the solution, which me and you know that is not the solution.
Not true.
But at least someone like yourself who has the interest experience will be able to go amongst these young
Yes.
people and provide programs and stuff to get them out of gangs and to get them moving on in their life to be productive citizens and residents and to come out of that type of life.
Yes. Yes. I mean, East Harlem, for example, has lost a lot of sports programs.
Mhm.
Right? Like, there's no after school programs. There's no summer job systems. There's nothing. We just got kids there, and they just sitting there not doing anything with idle time on their hands.
Mhm.
Right? And so at the end of the day, you're right. I feel I can't go amongst them. I'm from there. I'm from the community. They know me. And so for me, it's I am the example of, if you don't give up, we can overcome obstacles. Right? And so that's what it is. But we have to, when it comes to our youth, there's the education piece that has to be looked at. Right? Because there's always the awareness, right? And then there's also a community aspect, because we got to unify as Black men, you know what I'm saying, and go into these communities. And there's organizations that do it. My whole thing is just to partner with them and to bring them into East Harlem,
Yeah.
to spread that love, because that's what East Harlem and the South Bronx needs.
Yeah.
It needs love from other districts, right? Neighboring districts. We call them District 9, district that coincides with the Bronx. We call on these districts, because this is the healing process. East Harlem and the South Bronx needs a lot of resources, man.
Yes, you know what, Brother Santana? They need to bring back the trade apprenticeship programs.
100%. 100%.
Because this put people into the trade unions at a good working wage. It taught them a trade that they could have a career from.
Yes.
But they eliminated the trade programs and apprenticeships so much to our community. So I'm wondering, what has the other elected officials been doing? What is going on with the city of New York?
Yeah, and that's the part we need also. That's why I have sat down with numerous unions, right? It's not just about the endorsements. It's about, how can you benefit our community, right? Can you bring an apprenticeship program into our community and grab up some of our young brothers that want to be a part of unions, that want to learn what organization is, right? This is how we get them. This is how we bring them in. We give them job opportunities, right? Apprenticeships is perfect. And we have a lot of youngsters in our neighborhoods that would be eager, and that's why that was my reason for even wanting to bring unions into this, because at the end of the day, I have a union background too. Like, my dad was in the union all his life. Him and my uncle, 1199.
Great union.
Yeah. So it's my campaign is different. I don't come with all the answers. I can't sit here and tell you I have a 4-point plan of policies. But what I can tell you is that if I know the person that can get it done, I can bring him in, and that's the transparency.
Well, your mind and heart is there. That's the key.
It has to be.
Because if you don't have that, then it's invitation.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it sounds like that's what the other side, or whoever these other people who claiming to want to be are doing.
Yeah. Yeah. And I can't speak for them. I can just do what I do.
Right. You do what you do. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm not in this race for them. I'm in this race for the people at the end of the day.
Yes.
We have two different agendas here.
and Harlem's about to become more lucky, man. You get two Central Park 5 representing them, man.
But that's the thing, though. See, that's the greatness also, because Yusuf, because he represents District 9, which is the overlapping districts of District 8. So at the end of the day, he know that as my brother, he has to come over here. He has to help assist.
He's a great brother, man. I helped him in his campaign too. Very good. I'm going to get him on the show too.
Definitely.
He's a very good brother, very serious, and he's focused on truth and what's truthful to people and community. And
Yes.
I see that's the same about you. But we're looking forward to some things coming up in the next month. You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah. Yeah. I
how many
mean,
more days?
we got the primary. Early voting starts June 14th. Primary is June 24th. And we ask the people to come on out and speak, man, speak their truth.
Hmm.
At the end of the day, even if I'm not your candidate, come out and vote for somebody. Like, we trying to raise the numbers here. Like I said, this is a district that has 185,000 residents, and it brings out a vote of maybe 5 to 10,000, 11,000 max. Like, nah, we got too many voices for that.
But you're endorsed by almost every district leader of Harlem and elected official. And so, I mean, all of this big name and big money thing is not the word of the people.
It's not. But see, that's the thing too, because as East Harlem and the South Bronx, we're gonna hold these other elected officials accountable to come in and sit.
Yes.
Right? You have to. This is a joint effort. East Harlem and the South Bronx needs resources,
Yes.
right? And so at the end of the day, if I can come in, I can unify the parties around to come and assist, then there's the win. There's the
Yes.
win. I won
Yeah.
already.
Yeah. We're going to take a quick break and come right back, brother.
Definitely.
Yes. Absolutely right. Hello, viewers in America and across the world. This is Eric Stevenson, host of the Power Talk show on Millennium News 24. Tune in every week at Sunday, 1 p.m. Eastern Time, American Time, and also on all of your iOS and Android devices. Also on Smart TV and Apple, Amazon, and worldwide through Verizon Satellite. And also worldwide through www.millenniumtvnews.com. And that's www.millenniumnews24.com. And through our social media, Millennium News. See you there. Welcome back to Millennium News 24 TV. I'm your host, Eric Stevenson of Power Talk. We're here with Raymond Santana, the next New York City councilman of District 8 that covers South Bronx and East Harlem. I'm saying that because I believe in putting what I want in existence out in the universe.
Yeah.
So I don't wobble with words and thoughts. If I want something, I'll put it straight.
No doubt.
And I'm calling it like that because that's what I believe.
Yeah.
And I know if you continue your hard work and your door-to-door and your street corner talks and getting out there to the people and do what you're supposed to do with your message, you will be that.
Yes. Yes.
You know?
Definitely.
And we have a short time, but the listeners on here are they're listening, very attentive. Millennium News TV, it's a show, it's a TV network that people some may know of and some may not know of, but we have the mayor, the governor, the president, everyone on here.
That's right.
Who comes on. It's a worldwide network that covers every corner of the planet, believe it or not. Right now, believe it or not, 1 million people are tuned in right now and hearing and witnessing what we're saying.
I appreciate them all.
Yes, and we would like to have you to come in our network one day and sit down with our CEO, who could talk to you about some other ways and some things with the campaign and be very helpful in some things with you community-wise. So you should definitely focus and do that because he's a great man who knows media and things very well.
Yes.
And he's about community and actually about doing things about what you're talking about with the young and so on.
Yeah. At the end of the day, that's what it's about, right? We came from battling against a system that wanted to give our kids a jail cell instead of a college dorm, right? And so here it is when we get to this stage where we start to get involved in being an elected official. It's because now the scope has become broader now, right? It isn't just about the kids. Now we got to think about the seniors. We got to think about us, right? As that middle ground between the kids and our parents, right? That bridge, right? Because we the ones who hold the family together. And so, it's 3 steps to it, but each one we got to look at them very seriously because each one can affect, our long-term progress, right? So we got to invest in them equally. They're all very important. Yeah.
Yes, sir. It's absolutely, and also we have to keep our eye on NYCHA. You
Yes.
have a lot of NYCHA residents in that district, your
Yeah.
district, you
100%.
know,
Yeah.
and um, a lot of things are going on in NYCHA, as you know, you and I know.
Yes.
Um,
Yeah. Yeah.
so I know there's been talks about the air rights of putting other things above NYCHA and so on, and even of wanting to privatize. Whether that
Yeah.
can be done or not, I don't know. But you're going to have a fight in your hand in keeping an eye and upkeep with NYCHA, you know?
Yeah, with NYCHA, you know, we visit several housing developments in the district. You know, I during the petition process, right? I knocked on a lot of doors. I got to see the conditions in some of the housing developments, right? You know, the rat problem, people sleeping in the staircase, the eviction signs, you know, I mean, the warehousing, right? The empty apartments that aren't being used. I mean, people literally when they heard it was me in the hallway, a lot of them opened their doors and welcomed us into their apartments to look at the condition,
Mm.
right? And we know that it's a concern because at the end of the day, I know there's a lot of people that love NYCHA, right? And so, you know, we gotta make sure that
It's
people
home. It's home to
home.
many people. Yeah.
It's home. It's home. I mean, I come. You know, I lived in the housing development when I lived in the Bronx. I lived in Cedric houses. You know, West
Oh,
Bronx.
certainly, yeah. Mhm.
Yeah, and Cedric had a big impact in my upbringing. You know, and so I understand. You know, but there's also a sense of community there. There's love there. There's you know, the people. You know, it wasn't a bad experience for me. You know, it was a good experience. And
Mm.
so, you know, at the end of the day, it's about connecting with the people and see what it is that they need and they want,
Yes.
and then being that force to go in there and try to get it for them. That's that's it.
Well, I think you'll put that good fight up.
Yeah,
City Hall should reflect the people of the area it represents or the communities it represent. We shouldn't have someone representing a community that doesn't look like the people of that community, you know. And it's a new day today in New York City and in City Hall. The opportunity today and what you see happening today, you couldn't see 20 years ago.
that's right.
You know, you couldn't see a Yusuf Salam coming in and being a
Right,
councilman. You couldn't
right.
see another Central Park 5 getting ready to come into.
Yeah,
I mean, but it just shows you, and you can see for yourself, it's a chance, it's an opportunity, it's a change. And
yeah,
it's a change for the better because it's returning power back to the people.
to the people.
It's no more status quo, big power, big money, big development. People are wisening up now, and
Yeah,
they're rejecting this thought of a big money. We don't care about it.
that's right.
Where are you on our gang violence? Where are you on our seniors? Where are you on the quality of life, job creation, job development? Where are you on helping our small businesses survive?
That's right.
You know, giving them tax incentives that they can thrive on and stay in our community and
That's
not
right.
be priced out by all these other big businesses coming in and they're pricing out the hardware like Home Depot. You
Yeah,
know, the mom and pop hardware stores are 116th and stuff that have been there for years.
yeah,
Has everything you could think about in a hardware store.
yeah,
But
yeah.
now, since these other big giants come in, the competition became too big. But luckily, they're still in business because you have the community who knows them for many years and still supports them.
Yeah, and that's what we need. We need the people to still support those small businesses. Like I look for cleaners. I mean, it was hard to find the cleaners in the area,
Wow.
right? And so this is, you know, this is what we're dealing with. Like we're losing these businesses. I live on 125th Street, so I
Yes.
see the conditions every day. I walk through them every day, and
Yes.
it's a reason because I need to be reminded. This is
Yeah.
what it is. This is the reality. This is why people are afraid to come out the train station when they coming home from work.
Yeah, the 125th Street and Lexington Avenue, there's been so many issues that went on for so many years there.
Yeah,
And I'm like, you know, you telling me nothing better could be done? And I'm like, you know, I just felt to accept that. And I know that it's been a failure on behalf and part of the elected official who has served the area
yeah, and just do the
or
research on how long
represented the
that person.
area, you
And
know?
just do the research on how long that person's been in office, how long your area's been looking the way it looks,
Right,
and
right.
then you know we smart people, we can put it together.
Yes, yes, yes. Well, we
Yeah,
want to put it together, and at the same time, we want to make sure the voters make a right choice,
yeah,
and that they also realize that you know the choice is big.
yeah,
The choice is life or death.
Yeah, 100%.
The choice is you stay here or you leave here.
Yeah, because
You
that's
know?
the plan. The plan is to get us out of here, and then turn it all to rentals, and then just jack up the rent. And a couple of years it'll be $3,500 for a 1 bedroom.
And the choice is going to be: are you going to stand and vote for the right thing or the wrong thing?
Yeah, I mean, and it showed because we're losing the population. People are leaving. And so that's the voice. It's leaving New York City. It's leaving East Harlem. It's going to wherever, down south, wherever it's going. And so it's not coming back. And if somebody does come back, then it's extremely hard for them to come back and get established because now you have no anchor. Your anchor's gone, right? They pulling the culture out. You see it every day, and that's the thing. You start to lose your culture. You start to lose its people. And then it has no identity. And then now somebody comes in and they put an identity on it. And now it's no longer ours. It's gone.
Very quickly, what gave you the desire to want to run for city council?
It's a couple of reasons. But for me, I got an extensive history with this community, right? This community watched me since I was 14 years old. And they've been, they was always supportive through the ups and downs of this case, even through exoneration, even through my failed marriage. This community was still rallying behind me, right? And so, when I get to this point in life, that I'm still a fighter, right? I got to be in the mix. I tried to retire, but it didn't work for me, right? And then I watched Councilman Yusuf go in there and battle and go against a system, right, and be victorious. And I'm like, ooh, this is where God is leading me. This next step, which becomes a natural progression, right? Remember, I told you we fought against the criminal justice system for our juveniles. Now, as a 50-year-old man, the fight takes different form. Now we got to fight for seniors. We got to fight for us, right? And so the battle is bigger. And then when I walk through the neighborhood, the conditions, they just stand out. I mean, it's like, wow, this is where we at. And then I start to ask those questions. Well, who's the elected official that's in charge? How long has this person been in charge? Oh, wow. So you guys have had a hold on East Harlem and the South Bronx for all these years. This is why our community looks like this, right? And then I go, all right, so now that I know this, what am I going to do? It's a no-brainer. I have no choice now. God has showed me the path, and he says, now you got to walk it because now you see it. And if you don't say nothing, what happens? You're just as guilty as those that are doing it.
Yes.
So at the end of the day, even if I'm not a elected official, the fact that I put the spotlight on it and I brought some media attention to it and something finally gets done, that's the win.
That's it.
That's the win. That's the win. And that's what it's about. It's about getting the job done. If I can get the job done, that's it. I'm solidified in my community. They love me already. They know me already. So why not lend my hand if I can? If they don't want me to do it, then it's their call. That's why the vote becomes so important, right? Because if you don't want me to do it, then it's your call to say, nah, Ray, we don't want you. We got it. But if you need me,
but what else could they want in place?
I mean, that's the thing. But we don't, we got to give the people the ability to make their minds, right? That's why we just give them the information. We tell them about the Wilfredo Lopez's and the Super PAC, right? We talk about, the hole that's on East Harlem.
Have you ever seen Wilfredo on the corner of 125th and Lexington Avenue?
Maybe trying to give out some of them little palm cards because he's paying.
But before then, where was he at before?
Trying to run for office and trying to find another way to sell out our community.
People have to make an educated decision, and
that's what it is. And that's what it is.
It's clear. But you have to keep doing your job, which I know you're doing. Yeah. I know you have to drink a lot of water and wear soft shoes, man.
All day.
You got some pavement, man. You got some pavement for the next couple of weeks.
100%. 100%. And that's the thing that we committed to the work. Yes. I mean, I'm here just for this.
Yeah. Well, it looks like God has put the anointment on you now because out of the belly of the beast and out of the furnace of affliction, it seems like he rises you out of ashes now to be a leader.
Yes.
to be the leader of your community, and not just your community, but of the city of New York, the state of New York, and of the United States of America.
That's right.
Because your story transfers to the story of that little boy or that boy who's been through a park, who's in the street in another city or state.
That's right.
Your voice transcends there. Your story transcends there.
That's
So
right.
people have to look at the bigger picture of making this right choice.
Yes. Yes.
And it would be a great choice for the voters to go ahead and do the right thing. I'm voting all of my support and people I know and my voice for you.
Thank you.
And I'm telling everyone else and whatever else, Central Park 5,
Yeah.
Raymond Santana.
Thank you, brother. Thank you. And that's
And
what
we pray for you. We're going to pray every day for you, brother.
I appreciate the prayers, brother. I take them. We
Yeah.
need spiritual
and anybody who we know who can send a check, we would tell them, get it to you.
That's right. That's right.
Get it to you.
Campaign.
You know, we know it's about money.
Yeah.
And, you know, get it to him.
Yeah, there's a super PAC that put up 1.6 million to take us to court. Our legal fee is about 20,000, 20,000 right now.
How could the viewers get in contact with you as we close out?
You know, we have the website, Raymond Santana for New York City. We'll give you the website. You can have them post it. You know, we're on the campaign trail, so you can donate.
Is there any campaign, a number to your campaign office?
No, we don't have a campaign office yet. We just
Okay.
doing the donations, and you can also volunteer through the website.
Okay, so we go to the website to get
Go
you.
to the website,
and we'll get it and follow up. So whatever you want to say to the voters, say it as we close out.
You know, I mean, you know, this election, people, I'm going to stress this. We are in the battle. They're trying to take East Harlem and the South Bronx forums. And whether that's corporate greed or structure or infrastructure that's been here that hasn't done anything for us. Either way, they're two bad lanes. And I'm trying to be the person to fight. I'm trying to be the person to stand between them and us. Right. And so at the end of the day, all we ask is for your support. We ask for your voice. We ask for your prayers. We ask for anything that you can contribute to the movement, because that's what we're trying to start here. You know, they think that it's just about politics. No, it's about a way of life. It's about our people, how we haven't had a seat at the table, how we have been robbed of our vote. We have been silenced of it. And they act like it's just an ordinary day. And at the end of the day, we have the numbers. We have the power. And so, you know, I just ask that, yeah, you do the research. You look for it. You search it for yourself. You see what it is. And then you use that power and you exercise your vote. And whatever you vote, that's what it's going to be. But you stand on that vote afterwards. You know, and if I'm the person that you choose, then you know, you see what you got on your hands.
Well, I don't always do this, but I'm doing it. I'm telling you to make the choice of Raymond Santana. That's what I say. You're going to do what you want, but it's a wise choice. Really think about it, Brother Santana. We thank you for being here with us. You're welcome back anytime. And once you're elected, please come back when you're elected and give your other side of the story, the before and after.
Yes.
We'll have you back as the councilman.
I appreciate it.
All right. Send my regards to Yusuf and all, and thank you, brother, and all the best to you. And we will get the word that people get on this trail and take you home. And it's starting June 14th on that early voting, which is so crucial.
So crucial.
And then get it on right on through the primary in June 26th. Thank you, brother. God bless. And we'll see you, Councilman. Thank you.
Thank you, Brother Eric. Appreciate it. I appreciate
Yes,
everybody tuning in.
Yes, sir.
You got
Thank
it.
you.
Let's make history together.
Yes. Unity, brother. Power. Yes. Thank you all for listening to Millennium News 24 TV. And we'll see you back for some more great shows with some more great people. Thank you for tuning in.